Good evening, and welcome to this week in review. Tonight's stories include
highlights from the Sand and Sea Festival, special visitors at the opening ceremony at Sand and Sea, logs drifted ashore on sandbanks, possible piping plover sighting.
These stories, plus the BBS Playbill, Off the Rack, and more, coming up after this.
I am Ashtar, a robot from Planet Danger. I can put my arm back on. You can't. So play safe.
The 9th annual Sand and Sea Festival was a tremendous success again this year. Even though the weather wasn't as cooperative as we would have liked, large numbers of people attended all the events and none of the events had to be cancelled. The festival began with the opening ceremonies. Mayor Hand brought greetings and congratulations from the town and cut the ribbon officially opening the festival. The entertainment for Thursday was provided by Roger Murphy. There were games for the children, a poker rack, and a duck hunt. At 7 p.m. there was bingo at the park. At 7:30 p.m. the children enjoyed a wiener roast at the beach. At 9:30 there was a sing-along at the park stage. Friday brought more entertainment, another duck hunt, and poker rack. There was also a log sawing contest, which was very enjoyable. At 9 p.m. there was the ever-popular 60s dance. On Saturday, there was more entertainment, games for children, a poker rack, and a canoe race. At 7 p.m. there was indoor-outdoor bingo at the hockey rink. Our MHA, Kelvin Parsons, volunteered to call bingo. The day ended with an outdoor dance at the hockey rink. Mercer began Sunday's festivities with a teddy bear picnic at the park. The Sand and Sea provided cupcakes and Kool-Aid for the children. The band ST&T provided the entertainment for Sunday. The festival concluded with prize draws and committee chairperson Paulette Marsden passing on their many thanks to businesses, organizations, and individuals for their overwhelming support to the Sand and Sea Festival. We extend our congratulations to Paulette and the Sand and Sea Committee for doing such an excellent job again this year.
During the opening day of Sand and Sea Festival, we were honored to have a couple of special guests. During the opening ceremonies of the Sand and Sea Festival, Paulette welcomed Miss Newfoundland and Labrador, Lori Dunphy. Miss Dunphy was accompanied by her parents. Her father gave a little of her family history before introducing his daughter to the people. Miss Dunphy told the crowd how she was enjoying being Miss Newfoundland and Labrador. The Sand and Sea Festival cake. Miss Dunphy gave out autographed photos of herself for anyone who wanted one. She also held a spot dance contest for the children. The winners were presented with an autographed Newfoundland flag. Shortly after the opening ceremonies, someone whispered to us that the leader of the PC Party of Newfoundland and Labrador, Danny Williams, was making his way through the crowd. Sure enough, there he was, shaking hands with the people. We spoke to him briefly. He told us he was traveling around the province with his wife and sister-in-law, taking in the festivals and celebrations. He also told us that this was a non-political visit. It was part of his holidays. While Miss Newfoundland and Labrador were giving out flags to the children, she also presented one to Mr. Williams. The Sand and Sea Committee invited Mr. Williams to say a few words to the people.
I hope everybody's having a good time, and I mean the kids are. On behalf of myself and my family in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, I'd like to give Mr. Williams and his very wonderful wife, who I've been talking to, I think, 4 or 5 times this week. Every time we go somewhere, they're there all week, so I think they're chasing us across the island. But on behalf of myself and my family and the entire province, you're doing a wonderful job as leader of the opposition, and good luck in the future. So, here you go.
I didn't come here to speak, and I'm sure you don't want to listen to any political speech today, but I just want to say myself and Maureen and her sister Tony and Pat have been going all over the province, and we're with the Dunphy family and has watched Laurie in action. I'm telling you, she's a great ambassador for our province, and obviously very beautiful and very intelligent young woman, and so I'm very proud to be associated with her. Also, as well, it's certainly so nice for us to be here today. We came down, of course, hoping the fog just might lift. I hear it's been here for now a couple of weeks. But if it's any consolation, it's also on the Bure Peninsula where Laurie is from. We were over in Lawn and Lameline and it was right on the ground. But anyway, enjoy yourselves here today, and on behalf of the Rest Conservative Party, I certainly wish everybody well in Burgeo. It's certainly not our first trip here, but it was the first chance I got to get a look at your beautiful beach. And as we go around this province, I tell you right now, Newfoundland and Labrador is the best kept secret in the world. We should all be very, very proud of what we have. So enjoy your weekend, and thanks very much for your hospitality, and thank you, Laurie. Take care.
On Monday of this week, we received word that there were lots of logs that had come ashore on one of the beaches at Sandbanks. On Monday, July 28th at approximately 4 p.m., MHA Kelvin Parsons stopped by our office. He mentioned that on his way down from Grand Brit, they saw quite a number of logs in the ocean off the coast of Burgeo and along Sandbanks shoreline. We took our camera up to Sandbanks to take a look. We started our search at Greephead Beach with no success. Then we walked to Western Beach, still no logs. On our way back to the third beach, we met a gentleman who enjoys walking the beach early in the morning and in the evenings. During his early morning stroll on Monday, July 28th, he told us he saw approximately 60 logs on the fourth beach and lots more floating in the sea. So we headed for the fourth beach. There wasn't 60 logs anymore, but we did see some scattered along the beach. The largest cluster we saw was on Second Beach. These logs look like they may have been cut by a logging company. They all appear to be the same length. The Marine Channel has been issuing warnings about the logs to boats in this area. No one seems to know for sure where the logs come from. Some say they may have come from a Quebec barge that has been supplying logs to Steve Mills sawmill. Someone else told us they came from a barge in the Grand Brit area. Wherever these logs came from, some residents have collected the logs and now they have some great firewood.
While we were at the sandbanks trying to find the logs, we came across what we thought were 4 piping plovers. We saw 4 little birds scurrying along the second beach looking for something to eat. These birds were light brown with orange legs, a black ring around their necks, and they moved very quickly. We were very excited because we thought these birds were the piping plover. Piping plovers are on the endangered list, and with only about 50 nesting pairs, we could hardly wait to show our tape to the wildlife officer, Eugene Ball. Early Tuesday morning, Eugene came by to take a look at the birds, but to our disappointment, these are called semi-palmated plovers. They are very close to the piping plover, only the coloring is different. The semi-palmated plover is the color of wet sand, while the piping plover is the color of dry sand. As you can see by these pictures, it is easy to mistake the semi-palmated plover for the piping plover. Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
Even the first day I met Coach, he made me feel like I can do better.
Yeah, you can do better.
When I finally did win, he wasn't surprised.
I knew you had it in you.
Believing. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
On Wednesday of this week, the Odd Job Squad held a car wash. This is an annual event for the Odd Job Squad each summer. Funds from these fundraisers go to help the students help residents around our community do odd jobs free of charge. The weather was very cooperative and provided an excellent day for the students, sunny and warm with a light breeze. For just $5, you were able to have your vehicle cleaned inside and out. The Odd Job Squad washed, shined, and vacuumed 52 vehicles. By supporting the Odd Job Squad incentives, you allow the students to gain valuable work experience. The Odd Job Squad would like to remind the seniors, widows, widowers, and shut-ins that you may still contact the Outreach Office at 886-3389 if you would like to have some odd jobs done around your home. The Odd Job Squad will also like to remind the bingo players that they will be going door to door early next week selling bingo cards for their upcoming TV bingo on Wednesday, August 6th.
Westside Cement, the company who has been awarded the contract to do paving around the town, began on Monday of this week. The company has constructed an asphalt plant in the Wooden Brook area. This will supply all their asphalt needs for the school road and parking lot, the Sandbanks Road, town repairs, plus private and organization driveways. They began with the school road and parking lot on Wednesday of this week. However, since then they have stopped paving. We were informed that one of their pieces of paving equipment has broken down. We haven't been able to confirm this, so we're still not sure why they have stopped work. The town is ready. They have several areas to be paved. We remind motorists to be careful when driving in these areas because these holes are very deep and the edges are quite sharp and could cause damage to your vehicle if you happen to go into one. We will keep you informed of the progress on the paving.
While we were in the road filming the asphalt plant, we saw a couple of nice moose near the road. These are 2 reasons why motorists should be careful while driving late in the evening and early morning on the Burgess Road.
You know, summer is drawing to a close when the young birds leave their nests. Over the past several weeks, our BBS summer workers have been watching a robin build her nest in the peak of the BBS building. We had to delay the painting of this side of the building because of the nest. We didn't want to scare the robin away. A few weeks ago, the young were hatched. They're 2 small robins. The mother has been quite busy trying to feed the starving little ones. On Wednesday, one of the little robins was brave enough to leave the safety of their nest. We were fortunate enough to catch this on film. We also saw the mom feed a juicy worm to the baby. Shortly after, in the early afternoon, the other robin felt brave enough to leave the nest. We hope this young family will survive to come back next year and nest in the peak again.
On Friday of this week, we had an interview with Nancy Critchley with the Independent Newfoundland and Labrador Movement.
I understand you're with the Independent Newfoundland and Labrador Movement.
Yes, I am.
You're in Burgess today to see if anyone is interested in becoming a candidate with the movement.
Yep.
And run as an independent candidate for the upcoming election.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, actually, the Royal Commission on Renewing and Strengthening Our Place in Canada, when I was in university before Christmas, that was happening, and I decided to do my independent project on the Royal Commission. I did a sociological analysis, followed it, and did some extensive research on my own. And when the report came out in early July, it left a lot to be desired. It left out a lot of things. Basically, in my opinion, the commissioners never had the guts to really tell it like it was and to pick up for the people in Newfoundland and Labrador the way they should have. And I got in contact with a gentleman by the name of Mr. David Fox, who wrote a brief to the Royal Commission on Newfoundland airspace and on the railway. And after getting some recognition on that for him on Open Line, I was flooded with phone calls from people all over the island that said, you know, Nancy, you have a voice that we listen to and it makes sense. Do you know, you ever consider running? And then I met up with a friend of mine who had started a movement on their own about Newfoundland and Labrador and how we as a people need to start sticking together. And one thing led to another, and Linda Sweeney on Open Line kind of challenged me to put my money where my mouth is, and, you know, if you're suggesting people running, why don't you run yourself? So I ordered the election papers and got them come in the mail, got my 15 signatures, and started the movement.
Okay, and it is called the Independent Newfoundland and Labrador Movement.
Yes. Well, as on the ballot, if you're running separate to a party, you have to be an independent. And all you need is 15 names and $100 in order to run as an independent. You need 12 people running in order to form an official party.
Okay.
So what we decided is that if we as individuals run separately to each other, but combined under a common umbrella, it would make it easier to make the movement valid. And the main reason is that Newfoundlanders need a choice on the ballot. There's a very high percentage of people that don't vote, and number one reason seems to be they don't want to be responsible for putting in either member on the list, so they just decide not to vote. So what we're saying is, if we can get people running in every district, there will be a valid choice, a choice that represents the real people, because we're not politicians. I'm not a politician, and most everybody else that's joining this movement are not politicians. They're just Newfoundlanders in one capacity or another that are very fed up with the political structure and decided that they want to try and do something to make a change.
So obviously that's why you call yourself a party, right? A movement now instead of a party.
Yes.
Because you have to have a certain number of people to have a party.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we, the people involved so far, we don't want to be labeled like the political parties of the past.
Okay.
You know, the old regime, you know, the federal parties who come into Newfoundland. We are a party of true Newfoundlanders who want to speak for Newfoundlanders, and we don't want to lose our voice once we get elected, if any of us should get elected. Because it seems to be that most politicians, as soon as election day is over, they have to say what their party wants them to say and not what they as individuals really believe in. So under this movement, you will not lose your voice. You maintain your individuality, and hopefully everybody combined gives us the expertise that we need to make a valid opposition in the government.
Okay. Now, how many people are you looking for to join your movement?
Well, we're looking for as many people as we can to be supportive of us, whether it just be by word of mouth, you know, telling the next door neighbor, look, you should listen to these people and believe in it because they are for Newfoundland and Labrador. We would really like to have 48 candidates on the ballot. Right now there are tentatively 5, plus I'm talking to other individuals in different areas who are making up their mind, or if not, they're looking for somebody to run in their area. So I think we're going to get the 12, and I'm hoping we're going to get more. I'm really surprised I even got as many as I got so far, because I was expecting to be alone in this whole adventure, but more people are coming on board than I even expected.
Okay. Now, obviously, this kind of thing is going to require some finances, so where are you getting your finances? If, for example, we broadcast this Sunday night and there's somebody out there who's really interested, like, what would they need to do to be an independent or come along with you guys?
Well, all they need to do is phone me, first of all, and then the connection is made and they're part of the group.
Yeah.
We're not going to disclude anybody because of any issue, because everybody's independent and everybody has something different to offer. You know, no two people have the same experience. The actual get on the ballot is $100. Right now we're using our own money, but if we become a party, we will do fundraising, and any fundraising will equally be distributed between any party member. It's going to be a combined effort. We have the lists, you know, that the Liberal Party and Progressive Conservative Party has, and most corporate sponsors, if they sponsor one, they sponsor all of them.
Okay.
So we are going in that avenue. We're just trying to get the 12 candidates first and foremost so that we can make it official and then go after it that way.
Okay. So I do believe you answered this question somewhere along the line, but like, why do you think that Newfoundland and Labrador needs another political party movement on its political scene now?
Well, basically, the Royal Commission summed it all up. They say have better negotiations with Canada. That's the way to self-reliance. In 54 years, Canada has not negotiated in fairness to Newfoundland at all. Most politicians have given away our natural resources via Churchill Falls, Voisey's Bay, iron ore, our fisheries, the oil, and I can keep going on and on. Nobody in Ottawa or in Newfoundland, in my opinion, has ever negotiated in good faith on fair terms for Newfoundland and Labrador. Newfoundlanders need to know that there is a way for us to be self-reliant, but the first thing we have to do as a people is combine our efforts, stand together. You know, over the last 400 years of the history of this region, the history of the colony, we've always been a divided people. And that's the way foreign governments have kept us down and kept us controlled. But the Royal Commission brought out a lot of anger and a lot of frustration in Newfoundlanders. The fishery is collapsing. Our people are we're out migrating, you know, in massive numbers. Most of my family live away, and I don't want to have to move. And I want to have a life here for me and my daughter, and for every individual Newfoundlander. You know, my driving force is the children. I don't want to have our children look back in 20 years' time and say, why didn't you do something? You know, we have to take a stand, and it has to be now.
Okay. Now, if there's someone within who's seeing this interview now, how would they get in touch with you?
They can phone me, and if I leave the number, and then I'll phone them back. I have no problem putting it on my bill. My number is 646-5364. I also have an email address, which is nancyecritchley@hotmail.com. They can email me, and the combined effort, and once somebody gets in, we're sharing phone numbers, so they could end up talking to Fred or Bill or other people involved in the group. I'm not alone in this, and 3 weeks ago I thought I was alone. But the amount of phone calls and the amount of emails that I'm getting, I know the sentiment is building, and I know Newfoundlanders are looking for a real option, and I'm trying to help give them that option. I don't have all the answers, but I've always lived my life accepting everybody else's ideas, because I'm only as good as all the ideas that I get from everybody else. So I think that in combination, Newfoundlanders have got what it takes. We just haven't had the right avenue. There has never been a real vision. So I'm saying, if we get 48 on the ballot, there's a possibility we could sweep the government. It's a pipe dream. But if, you know, by some fluke, 20 of us get in, we hold a majority government. Then we run the government. And if Newfoundlanders and Labradorians as a whole know that this is a real option, I think they just might give us a chance.
Okay. Well, we certainly thank you for coming and joining with us.
Thank you for taking the time to interview me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Stay with us for Off the Rack and the BBS Flybill, all after this.
What you gonna do?
Hey, mister. You drop this? Have a good day, sir.
Honesty. Pass it on.
Hey, wait a minute.
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Off the Rack. This week, as we scanned our tape rack, we came across a tape of a dragger, the Burround, being towed to a shipyard in Nova Scotia. Let's look back to August the 28th, 1988.
Now they are towing the vessel away.
BBS Playbill. Try your luck on Wednesday by playing Odd Job Squad TV Bingo. Week in Review. Next week's program will be followed by entertainment from the Santa Sea Festival. For this Week in Review, I'm Jennifer Han.
And I'm Marie Rose.
Good night.
And God bless.